From the practical standpoint, mind and avidya are at par with each other. Avidya at the practical level is nothing but the mind. It is the one which causes the bind. What type of mind binds? That which has got raga, which is malina, impure, whereas shuddha mana, one can make the person gets free from bondage. So that is the case. A mumukshu should first of all get his mind shuddha, manashodhanam karyam. Earlier standa it was told, tat means tasma, because a marina, ashuddha mind binds, one has to purify the mind. One has to purify the mind. Manaha shodhanam karyam. One has to purify the mind. And if or when the mind becomes Vishuddha, Mukti Karafalayate vastu. Mukti Karafalayate. Karafalayate means what? It is as good as a fruit on your palm. How much effort required for you? Just put in the mouth and that you have to do. You have to put the fruit in the mouth. You can't say it is on my palm. If that is the case, yes, in your plate all food is there. Yes? How many course food? Whatever it may be. So you have to eat it. Otherwise, how can you appease your hunger? So, mukti karafala. Now the question is, how to purify this mind? What should be done? Daily you cleanse your body. That's all. Daily you cleanse your body. So you use different types of shampoos and this and that. For mind, which is the best one, latest imported varieties? Because that is the Indian mentality. Anything that comes from outside the country is good, even if it is China kachra. I don't know. No, the moment you step out from the shop, no guarantee that it will work as such. And still somebody is making money and people are there to buy. Okay, then. So anything that comes from outside the country is considered as good. Like, there are some people, they want to work outside the country. If not anything, they will be on the ship. Ship visiting different countries, etc. So that is that, even though 61 years have passed after independence, that slavish mentality has not gone. In the olden days, British time, they were saying, Yadvai sahebaha abravi tadvai bhaishajam. You know what it means? Whatever the sahib says, sahib, white skin fellow, tadvai bhaishajam, that is good. Because that's slavish mentality. But unfortunately, it has not gone even today after so many years of independence. In fact, what is not there in India is not anywhere. But only there. Even Mahabharata is there. Mahabharata said, what is not there in Mahabharata is not nowhere in the world. Everything that is worthy of knowing is there in Mahabharata. But see, look here, just see our past history. How many invasions India had undergone? I think 16 or 18 foreign invasions. What for? Were they coming here to loot the mud and the dust from here? Well, India was that wealthy country. Even today, but it is locked up somewhere, that's all. From Swiss bank onward. Yes, that is. Somebody told, I don't read newspapers, but someone told, in Swiss bank, if you take the amount deposited by different country people, the amount deposited, again, they don't get interest, there is no interest. No fixed deposit, no interest, even 4% टका भी नहीं है उधर. So you have to, they take care of your money there. The amount of Indians among the receivers surpasses the amount deposited by next 5 countries. If you take the first 5 countries, the amount deposited by Indians surpasses the amount deposited by next 4 countries. In fact, it is there. Even here also it is there. Once it happened, after just context came and therefore I am telling you, there was that Mandal Commission. Students were innovating, burning themselves. At that time, Mr. R. Venkatraman was the president of our country. And he with request went to Puttaparthi for the convocation, university convocation. He requested, Sati Sai said, look, I can't take care of you during such time, because the president of the country means that much of, that is honor, etc. We can't do that. He said, I am coming unofficially. So he went off here. At that time, Sati Sai was told Venkataraman, what nonsense is going on? These students burning their time. I am telling you, make the education free for everyone. And then he said, listen, even today India can give free education. He knows where money is there. Even today India can give free education to all. Okay. So what I say is, that mentality, whatever that belongs to the foreign country, now, I think now exodus to America has come down a little bit. Still they have not, the students have not realized, they have not realized that. So anyway, so that, now the question is, which method, I think if imported will be better, no? No, Manashuddhi, why mind becomes impure? Remove that cause. Raga, Asakti, born of which guna? Rajoguna, Tamoguna, mainly Rajoguna. Tamoguna is there, Rajoguna. So because of that, if that is the case, decade of this Rajoguna, mind becomes pure. When mind becomes pure, no raga means what happens? Mind is available for self-inquiry, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So from that standpoint, Yaha, the person who has really Mokshaika Saktya. Is Eka Sakti, Eka Asakti for moksha. We have got Asakti or not? What is Asakti? Preeti. I must have this. Asakti for how many things? Don't ask. Innumerable. But why do we have it? We have got a notion that I will get happiness from this. My sorrows will get removed. Nothing wrong in that. That is a good. Everyone who wants to be unhappy, who doesn't want to be happy as such, that is fine. But we have to apply our viveka, whether the methods and the means adopted by us, are they really capable of giving me the contentment that I would like to have from this, or freedom from sorrow that I would like to have? That is to be seen. Here, majority doesn't work. That is okay. In Parliament and Assembly, that is fine as well. Here, majority doesn't work as well. We have to go with the norm of Shastras. Shastras are given by who? Our Shastras are based where? In the Vedas. Vedas are given by who? Ishvara. Ishvara is the one who knows everything as omniscient, and keeping in mind the final good of the individual, Shastra recommends, do this, please don't do this. Why do this? Even if it may be painful now, not that pleasurable now, certain things, if done, will give you pleasure in the long run. There are certain other things, they give instant joy to you right now. In course of time, they putrefy in terms of sorrow, better avoid. So keeping the final good in the mind, the view, Shastra says, please do this, please don't do this. Generally, do's and don'ts are detested by people. Why? Shastra should tell me like that. Like the motherly love, Shastra has got, like 1,000 mothers' love, Shastra has got the final good of ours in view. From that standpoint, certain things are told, do this, don't do this. So we should know then what happens. Yes, this is for what? Our own good. Shraddha comes. With that, you have to take. Otherwise, the question comes, why should I follow Shastra? No. So it is that. Again, I am interacting with the others in the society as well. For example, in a country, civil laws and criminal laws are there. Why? To safeguard the interest of each and every individual. From that standpoint also, Shastra says, do this, don't do this, because you have to take into account the collective good and not my good at the cost of others. It may appear as though for some time it works, but in the long run it can never work. From that standpoint, he says, asakti. Generally our asakti comes in the vishayas, objects and beings of the world as such. So no, now it should be, because however much you may gain there, you can never be contented person. You can never be happy person who can say, yes, thus far, no further. Some bouts of joy will be there, no Shastra denies that, it is accepted as such. But really a fulfilled person, one can never be, and from that standpoint says, mokshaikya satya. Asakti, many things are given up, only one asakti is kept. What is that asakti? Moksha. Freedom from wants, freedom from problem, total freedom from sorrow, discovery of limitless happiness. I need not run after the sense object. The truth we have seen at some time as well. Do you know where is the happiness? Happiness is our true nature. Not knowing that, we think that it is there in the objects, beings and events, and we run after that and get the sorrow. It is not that way. See, it is our true nature, is happiness. That is why in this sleep state, from where do you get the happiness? Are you happy in sleep? Every day, everyone meticulously wants to prepare the bed, whether oneself or the servant. If it comes to forego the food, person is ready to forego the food, not the sleep as such. Even if you want to forego the sleep will not forego you. It will catch you. Is it not? So that is why is there a person who is unhappy in sleep? You may be unhappy because you didn't get sleep. That is fine. But is it that way? Now from where this happiness came in sleep? Your melodious music was not there. Your delicious dish was not there. Fragrance was not there. You can't say, no, Swamiji, I sleep on Dunlop mattress and that cozy touch, that gave me joy. To begin with, yes. To begin with, when you lie down on the bed, it was soft touch, it makes it soothe you and this is. But once you are asleep, you are not aware of the soft touch of the inside. See, Panchadashi gives action replay of sleep. Action, it is total withdrawal from all the perceptions. Total withdrawal from all the perceptions. So that is the case. It is not so. It is not because of soft touch or fragrant smell, etc. Because at that time, number one, source of sorrow was not there. What is that source of sorrow? Mind. See, mind functions in the waking and the dream. You are prone to be sorrowful. Not that you need not necessarily be sorrowful. You are prone to be sorrowful. Where? In the waking and the dream. In sleep, no trace of sorrow. In sleep, why? Mind functions in the waking and the dream, whereas mind is nowhere there in the sleep, therefore no sorrow. Number one, what happened? Source of sorrow is eliminated. Though not permanently, at least temporarily, because after we wake up or dream, again the mind starts. Number two is happiness is there. Maybe you are not aware at that time. At what time? At the time of sleep, because the I notion, me is not operating, because mind is not operating, antarkarma is not operating. Therefore, I notion, technically called as ahankara, is not working. Therefore, you don't know. But when you wake up, what is your recollection? How do you recollect your sleep experience? I slept happily. I did not know anything. Is it not? What does that I slept happily mean? At that time, you are certainly undergoing an experience of happiness, which was not caused by any sense object, because sense organs of actions are not available along with the mind, and yet happiness was there. It should necessarily be your swarupa. Yet, due to ignorance, we know not. That is why sleep cannot be a solution to gain moksha. Otherwise, how nice it would have been. We need not wait until night. In class itself we can sleep. We can sleep. And then what? So you will have moksha. It is not possible. It is not possible. So that is the way. So that means asakti must be there. I will get moksha. Come whatsoever. Whatever efforts need to be put forth, I am ready. I will give. Like those days, during the freedom struggle, the freedom fighters. Come whatsoever my country should be. How many have given the life lesson? Today the independence that we are enjoying because of the sacrifice of the martyrs. People nowadays they don't realize that they work for us. My country must be free. At least we save it by having unity and all that. So that is that. So that here, mokshaika satya, ekasakti, means totally committed to gaining of the moksha. Then that firm commitment is there. Then what happens? All means sadhanas are taken to. Mokshaika satya, vishayeshu ragam nirmulya. Ragam, asakti, priti, in what? Vishaya, sense object. Why that asakti, priti is there? Brahma is there, that these will give me happiness and contentment. That's why apply viveka. In the beginning it is already told. Sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, viveka vairagya shamadamadi shatka sampatti mukshitva. So apply them, train the mind, let the mind see the world in its right perspective and not based on assumptions. So that is it. Vishayeshu ragam nirmulya sarva karma cha sannyasya. Of course, this is applicable to sannyas. Sarva karma cha sannyasya. Grahasthas have to take the spirit of it. What it means is, having given up all the karmas, all the actions, a grahastha cannot give up all karmas. A grahastha is bound by duties. If not anything, one has to earn one's own livelihood. Shastra never expects a grahastha to depend on others. So each and everyone should earn enough for a decent and dignified living. This is the mandate of the Shastra. But here, a special person is taken into account. Who is this person? Who has got intense vairagya. He has discovered even the best that this world can offer me cannot make me contented. So therefore, karmas, actions are meant for what? for fulfillment of desire. This person has got freed oneself relatively to a great extent from the desire. And when the desire, one has got that freedom from desire, karma are not required. Why should they do? But what he is in for? To gain the moksha. To gain the moksha, what is necessary? A life committed to Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. And how? When? Not Sunday evening only as such. So, a life committed to Shravana means what? Inquiry. What inquiry? Self-inquiry. Atma, Anatma, Vichara. Manana, thinking on that. Then meditating on that. Nididhyasana. All these need time. When a person is preoccupied in karma, he has no time. So therefore, such a rare few who are serious in gaining the Atma-jnana, what the Shastra does is, Shastra exempts these people from karma. One more condition is that mere absence of desire won't work. Chitta Shuddhi also must be there. If you remember earlier in one of the standards, Chitta Shuddhaye Karma Natu Vastu Paladhaye Vivekchudamani only. Karma is meant for two purposes. What are those two purposes? One, primarily fulfillment of desire. A person who is free from desire relatively, because total freedom from desire is possible only in the wake of Atma-jnana and nothing short of it. Till then, to a great degree, one has to be freed from desire. Even though this person is relatively free from desire, if Chitta Shuddhi is not there, karmas are still necessary. Karma have to be taken to with what is called a karma yoga attitude, karma yoga vision. A person whose mind is shuddha and nishtala. No more hankering for sense objects. So no more hankering. Mind has got the steadiness. It has got the capacity to apply itself to Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Such person is exempted from karma by the Shastra. He is called as Vividisha Sannyasi. Not that knowledge is not there, but intense yearning, desire to gain the knowledge is there. Veditum Ichcha Vividisha. Vividisha Sannyasi. This person is exempted. That is the context here. A grahastha cannot, but he has to take that. Some priority for this knowledge also has to be given, because having been born as a human being, we have to discharge certain duties. Duties start from the immediate next members in the family. The whole society, nation, all duties need to be discharged. Shastra also says, having been born as a human being, you have a primary duty towards yourself also. This is generally overlooked. See, generally overlooked. Somebody finds these people are going to Vedanta class or some. You have to take care of your duty. First, they give the lessons to these people of duty. Themselves they don't bother about discharging the duties. So you have to discharge your duties. Yes. You know what happens? If duties are not discharged, a duty conscious person gets the guilt. This should have been done by me, I have not done it, and such a mind is not available to take to Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So therefore duties need to be discharged. Kartavyam kritam maya bhavitavyam bhavati. I have done what needs to be done. What is going to happen is going to happen. It is beyond me. What is in my hand? What needs to be done? I have done it. So therefore what is that? That self-satisfaction is there. I have done what needs to be done. So further, afterwards, there were many factors. So many factors. So that means that it is beyond me as well. So that from that standpoint. So as a human being, a duty towards oneself is there. You know what is that duty towards oneself? This human embodiment is a rare instrument. It is a rare embodiment. Do you know why? Because this human embodiment is specially designed for gaining Atma Jnana. Who created this embodiment? Our karma phala are true, but our karma phala, there must be somebody who executes the Ishvara. When Ishvara created, he created, you know how many types of embodiments are there? Not more, only 84 lakhs. 84 lakhs of species. Think of it. 84 lakhs of species are there. In that, the best species, do you know what it is? Human embodiment. Even not the heavenly embodiment, except Devatas. Except Indra, Varuna, Hiranyagarbha or Virat, etc. Except the general heavenly demigods embodiment is lower than this. They are superior from one standpoint, you know, from sense pleasure. A sense pleasure that can be had in heavenly embodiment, that high degree of sense pleasure is not possible in the human embodiment. How many of you have gone to Manas Sarovar? How many have taken bath? How long? 1 or 2 dips and then there is someone has to pull the fellow out, otherwise we will get frozen, is it not? You know, they say in a Purana, Gandharvas etc. spoke in Manas Sarovar. Will your body permit? Ram Naam Sathai ho jayega. Is it not? But Gandharvas can swim and sport, means what happens? Their body is designed for having a nice swim in Manasa. Is it not? That means like that. Heavenly embodiments are designed to eke out a higher degree of ananda, which is not possible for human embodiment. But human embodiment has got a special prerogative. You know what is that? Buddhi, jnanam manusya naranam adhiko vishesha. This faculty of intellect is a special feature of human embodiment where it can take to Atma, Anatma, Viveka and gain the Atma Jnana. That's why they say denizens in heaven envy the human embodiment, whereas we have no value for human embodiment. So that is it. The primary duty is what? About oneself. So that is the case. A grahastha cannot say no. That is for few people, sannyas is not there. But one has to discharge the duties side by side. This also should be kept as a main goal of life. That's why When other duties are over, this comes. That is how, as in a one way of sannyasa is brahmacharya, grahastha, he has done his job. So what is that? Vanaprastha, then sannyasa. A graded status. Otherwise, direct status. So that his duty towards oneself also is that mokshaika satya, sarva karma cha sannyasya. Here the context is the that of a who sannyasi. So then what he does? Sat shraddhaya. The shraddha involves Sat Swarupa Brahma Shastra. It says Shravanadinishtaha, committed to the pursuit of Shravana, Atma Vichara, Manana, reflection, Nididhyasana, contemplation. Nishtaha, Buddhi Rajasvabhavam Dhunoti. Rajasvabhava, the rajasic nature of the buddhi belongs to buddhi. Dhunoti, washes out, means gets free from rajoguna. Rajoguna is the one which inculcates raga. Raga means asakti in the vishaya. Moksha sakti is not possible. So therefore, to gain the moksha, at what level we have to operate? Removal of rajoguna from the mind, develop the sattva-guna. Tamoguna also has to be, that is, discarded. Now this manomaya kosha, which was described so far, mental sheath is not Atma, is truth. This manomaya, I hope, what is the purpose of our inquiry? What is the purpose of Vivek Chudamani? To gain Atma Jnana. To gain Atma Jnana, what is taken to Atma Vichara? To gain the knowledge of our true nature, inquiry into our true nature is conducted. So, why so? Is it that no one knows oneself? Yes. Some confusion has taken place as far as what this I really is. Yena kena prakarena, by somehow the fact is what is not me is mistaken as I, and what is me truly is not known at all. So for that, inquiry is necessary. And that in the case, first author points out, whatever that is not me. For that, first what was described? Annamaya kosha. Physical body. Physical body was discarded as not me. Many results are here. Now, manomaya kosha, the mental sheath so far described. Now we give why manomaya kosha cannot be Atma I. Let us see.
Manomayo na bhave paratma yatyantavattva parinami bhava dukkhatmakatva vishayatva hetoho drashta idrushyaatmataya na drushtah अन्वय मनोमयः अपि परात्मा भवेत्
No. Manomaya ati paratma na is it?
मनोमयः अपि परात्मा
न भवे
हि आद्यन्तवत्वात् परिणामी भावात् दुःखात्मकत्वात् विषयत्व हेतोः हि द्रष्टा दृश्यात्मतया न दृष्टः। अगेन मनोमयः अपि परात्मा न भवेत् हि आद्यन्तवत्वात् परिणामी भावात् दुःखात्मकत्वात् विषयत्व हेतोः हि द्रष्टा दृश्यात्मतया न दृष्टः।
मनोमयः अपि even this manomaya kosha atma na bhave cannot be atma. What is that even api also? Earlier it was demonstrated that annamaya kosha, food sheath, the physical body along with the indriya cannot be atma. Now perhaps one may say manomaya mind is superior to the body, maybe mind may be the atma. No, even that also cannot be atma. Now what is the reason? The reason is he, because number one, see, different reasons are given. What is that? Adyantavatva. Manomaya question is, let us keep in mind. Okay? Mind is something that it has got adi and anta. Antavatvat means what here is matuprasya, endowed with beginning and end. Mind is something which begins and ends. Begins means it originates and it gets ended. Is it so? Mind has got a beginning? True. Now you have got mind or not? Never mind what type of mind it is. You have got mind or not? Actually not. Then you go home, had your dinner, TV serial देख लिया, बाद में डिनर हो गया, बाद में कुछ काम था तो किया, slowly head started dropping. What does it indicate? Mind is there or not? Is there? Half. It is half mind is there. He at that time, suppose you are so much overpowered by sleep, and somebody asks, hey, read this article, where is this? And you want to read it. First line 3 times you read. First line you read. Not that you don't know the language, not that you have any eye problem, not that you... Why? No. A drowsy man, you know these children, Bombay, this example doesn't work. In the olden days, where no electricity in the villages, etc., these kerosene lamps and all that, etc., but the children, Bombay children up to 1-2 a.m. also they are awake. So here, by 7:30 they go to sleep. But the dinner gets ready only at 9 p.m. And then it is a job for the mother to wake up. Many times they don't get it. When they don't get it, they drag into it. So drag, and then this fellow is sitting and half sleeping. The mother pushes the food and the fellow somehow gulps it. And next day morning, Mummy, yesterday night you didn't give me food. Well, there was a mind was not there. That fellow has followed. So that is how that is mind means in sleep mind is not there. In waking and dream mind gets bound. Adi Anta. So that's it. So what? Do you know what Atma is? Atma, he has no beginning and no end. You need not be Atma Jnani, you tell me when you are not there. Don't tell me I was not there at home at such and such. When you are not there for yourself, come on, point it. Now you are there or not? Thank God. if you say I am not here, then I will have problems. You are there. In dream, are you there or not? Yes. In sleep, are you there? Some doubt is there, is it? In sleep, are you there? It is true, you can't say I am there, but on waking up you say, I slept well, I did not, means you were really there or not. Come on, when do you get lost to yourself? Is there a time when you got lost there? Is there a beginning and an end? No, Swamiji, when I was born, I began. That is because you don't know the life, death, things, etc. Even before you were born, you were there only in the form of blueprint. Like an architect draws a blueprint of a building, like that is there. You know what is that blueprint? Sukshma Sharira. In that Chaitanya was there. And Bhagavan got your order. And then he created this baby in the mother's womb. And when it was 5 months, he pushed the Sukshma Sharira in the fifth month of the pregnancy, that life principle enters, that is Sukshma Sharira enters. Another 4 months it spent there and came out. Means, yes, your body started, but not you. Because you were there even before the body was made ready by Bhagavan. See, Bhagavan has to take care of it. He has to keep your all food also ready. When you are not able to take breakfast, lunch, dinner, he has to even cow's milk, you are not able to take mother's milk, is kept ready. See how is Bhagavan's creation. You see, these things we should know. At least we should accept that there is some higher principle. You call it Ishvara, you call X, Y, Z, there is some higher principle guiding us, protecting us, etc. We should try to know what it is. And if you really know it, do you know what you are going to discover? That principle is very me in reality. That is all we got there. Until I discover, I try to relate with different attitudes, because my mind is not yet ready to discover that it is me only as well. But final discovery which will go, so that will the case say Adyantavatva. Atma is free from birth and death. Adi Anta. Manomaya Kosha has Adi, has Anta. Therefore what? It cannot be Atma, number 1. Parinami Bhava. Atma is aparinami, avikari, not subject to change. Mana, subject to change or not? You thought, let me go today evening discourse. You decided, by the time you were coming out of house, should I go today? I think बाद में देखेंगे. Mind change. Now it is calm, now it is disturbed, now it is angry, now it is loving. Mind is what? Subject to parinama. Atma is nirvikari, without parinama. Manomaya kosha cannot be Atma. Dukkhatmakatva. You know what is the nature of Atma? Paramananda Swarupa. What is the nature of mind? Don't ask. Dukkhatmakatva, Dukkha Swarupatva. Sorrows are at mental level. Sorrow, that's why in sleep, no mind, no sorrow. No mind, no sorrow. See, look, you have to inquire on this thing. Then you will be convinced that Vedanta is not a cock and bull thing that is to be believed as. You can really verify yourself. So it is Dukkhatmakatva. Again, Vishayatva Hetoho. Because Dukkhatmaka mind cannot be, again, because the reason that it has the status of being Vishaya. You know what is the Vishaya? Object. You, Atma, is the very subject, the knower principle. But mind is something that is known. Vishaya means what? No. Do you know your mind or not? Oh, now my mind is calm. Now my mind is agitated. So now my mind is angry. Now it is loving. Means what? Mind is a drishya, a vishaya. It says, no, Atma is drik, the knower principle, and therefore Vishayatva Hetoho. And therefore, see, the rule is this. He, because Drashta. Drashta means Jnata, knower principle. I, Atma, is the knower principle. Mind is something that is known. What is called otherwise as Drishya. Atma is Drik, the knower principle, and that is what is known. So therefore, say, he because Drashta, Jnata, knower principle is Drishyatmataya na drishtaha. Drishyatmataya means Drishya Rupataya, Vishayataya na drishta. Subject I cannot be object that is known. Yes, principle. The knower cannot be known. The possessor cannot be possessed. The owner cannot be the owned. You know your body, you know your mind. Who are you now? No. Mind is no. In another thing, it is to say, my mind. Do you say or not? My body. Huh? My mind. Now come on. When you say my mind, sixth case, genitive case, you are using you to whom the mind belongs. Are you not separate from the mind? My pussy. You are pussycat, are you? My chappal. No, 2,000 rupees. Are you? No. My pup. Are you? No. The owner cannot be the owner. See, look here. In Vyavahara we are experts, but when it comes to our true nature, we commit the blunder. So that's why the principle is Drishya, he who Drashta, Drishyatmataya, na Drishtaha means na Loka Siddhaha. In the world, we never find that a known thing can be the knower principle. Is it not? Mind is known, therefore Manomaya Kosha cannot be Atma. So ruled out, Manomaya Kosha is not. Now, Annamaya Kosha, food sheath, was described and was proved as not Atma. Manomaya Kosha described and showed it is not Atma. Third comes Vijnanamaya Kosha, intellectual sheath. Now, what is intellectual sheath? And thereafterwards, from 184 to 188, Vijnanamaya Kosha is described, but it will be negated as not Atma in 206 stanza. 206 stanza. Vijnanamaya Kosha.
Buddhir buddhindriyai sadham savrutti kartu lakshanaha Vijnanamaya koshasya punsa samsara karanam. Advaya buddhindriyaihi sadham savrutti buddhi कर्तृलक्षणः विज्ञानमयकोशः स्यात् सः पुंसः संसारकारणं भवति. Again, बुद्धिन्द्रियैः साधम सवृत्ति बुद्धि कर्तृलक्षणः विज्ञानमय कोशः स्यात् सः पुंसः संसारकारणं भवति.
Buddhi, intellect, along with buddhi indriya. You know what buddhi indriya means? Jnanendriya, sense organ. Intellect along with sense organ. What are those? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touch. Savritti, along with the vritti, thoughts in the intellect. This comprises Vijnanamaya Kosha. And he says, this Vijnanamaya Kosha is the karana of samsara of the individual. Earlier what was told, Manomaya Kosha is the karana of the samsara. Now, Vijnanamaya Kosha, the karana is told. How is that? How can both be there? Slight difference is there. You know what is that? You see that Manomaya Kosha is the karana of samsara as a karana instrument. Vijnanamaya Kosha, you see in detail, Vijnanamaya Kosha is the karana of the samsara as a karta. You know who is the CEO of samsara? Modern terminology. Chief Executive Officer, CEO of samsara is Buddhi Vijnanamaya Kosha. And the tool at the disposal of the CEO Buddhi is Manomaya Kosha. That is why it was told that Manomaya Kosha as the karana of other instrument, as a tool, here as the one who operates, as a karta, that it is a karana. So that is see in detail. Oh.